day everyone, welcome back to my channel. And in today's video we'll be discussing a report outline. Yeah, now you have to think of it. Have you ever sat down to write a research paper and suddenly felt stuck? If you have the topic, you may even have the data and ideas, but when it is time to begin writing, everything feels confusing. You do not know where to start, what to write first, or how to connect each section properly. This is one of the biggest struggles many students and researchers face. The truth is, many research papers do not fail because the ideas are bad. They fail because the paper lacks structure. Even strong research can look weak when it is poorly organized. So in this video, you will learn the perfect research paper outline used in universities and academic journals around the world. You will discover how to structure each section clearly, how to make your writing flow logically, and how to present your work professionally. By the end of this video, you will understand how to organize your paper from the abstract to the conclusion in a way that saves time, improves clarity, and increases your chances of publication. Stay with me because this guide can completely change the way you write research papers. Writing a research paper becomes much easier when you understand that structure is everything. A research paper outline is like a roadmap. It gives the direction to your ideas and helps you know what belongs in each section. Without an outline, writers often repeat themselves, forget important points, or move from one idea to another without connection. This confuses readers and weakens the overall quality of the paper. When you use a clear outline, your paper becomes easier to write and easier to read. You know what to discuss first and what evidence to present next, and how to conclude strongly. It also saves time during editing because the organization is already in place. Instead of fixing a messy paper later, you build it correctly from the beginning. A standard research paper usually follows this proven structure, which is abstract, introduction, literature review. As you can see clearly here, we have abstract, we have introduction, we have literature review, we have methodology, result and discussion. Then you have conclusion, acknowledgement, and references. Each section has a specific purpose and together they create a complete story of your research. Now let's begin with the abstract. The abstract is one of the most important parts of your paper because it is usually the first section people read. In some cases, it may be the only section they read before deciding whether to continue. That means your abstract must be clear, concise, and informative. The abstract section, which is the abstract is a short summary of the entire study. It should explain the research problem, the method you used, the key findings, and the main conclusion. Think of it as your paper in one paragraph. A strong abstract quickly shows readers the value of your work and encourages them to read more. Which means your abstract contains the main findings, problem statement, indication of methodology, the main result, and what conclusion. The next is your introduction. Your introduction section is what comes next immediately after your abstract. The introduction sets the stage for your study. This section explains the broader topic and why it matters. It introduces readers to the area of research and helps them understand the background. A strong introduction usually follows 3 steps. First, it establishes the territory. This means discussing the general field and what previous studies have already shown. Second, It establishes the niche. This means identifying a gap, problem, contradiction, and unanswered question in existing research. Third is it occupies the niche. This is where you explain your own study, your objectives, and how your research will address the problem. The introduction should make readers understand why your study is necessary. If readers do not see the importance of the problem, they may lose interest. This is why your introduction must be clear, focused, and convincing. After the introduction comes the literature review, which is what the third. It comes immediately after your introduction. This section examines what other researchers have already written about your topic. Many students make the mistake of simply summarizing one paper after another. The approach is weak and unconvincing. A proper literature review should compare studies, identify patterns, highlight disagreements, and reveal gaps in knowledge. It should show how previous research connects to your own study. Instead of listing articles, you are building a foundation for your research question. For example, if several studies agree on one issue but disagree on another, that disagreement may create an opportunity for your research. If no study has examined a topic in your region or population, the gap may justify your work. Literature review should lead naturally to the need for your study. Now, after the literature review comes methodology, which is what the fourth section here. This section explains exactly how the research was conducted. It tells the readers what you did, how you did it, and why you chose that approach. Your methodology may include the research design, sample size, participants, instrument use, data collection method, and data analysis techniques. If you conducted interviews, surveys, experiments, or observations, this section explains those processes. Clarity is extremely important here. Another researcher should be able to understand your method and possibly repeat the study using the same procedure. A strong methodology builds trust because it shows that your research was carried out carefully and systematically. After the methodology comes what? The result section. This is where you present the findings of your study. You are simply reporting what the data revealed. This is not the place for deep interaction. Yet, result can be presented using tables, charts, graphs, percentage, themes, or descriptive summaries, depending on the type of research. Focus on the most important findings and organize them clearly. For example, if you conducted a survey, present major trends or relationships in the responses. If you performed an experiment, show the measurable outcomes. If you carried out quantitative or qualitative interviews, present the key themes that emerge. The goal of the results section is to answer one question: what did you find? That is the main review of those results section. What did you find? The next section comes what? The discussion. And this is where many papers becomes powerful. In a discussion, you explain what your results mean. You move beyond reporting data and begin interpreting the significance of the findings. You should discuss whether the findings support previous studies or contradict them. If your results are different from past research, explain possible reasons. You should also discuss the practical, academic, or social implications of your findings. For example, if your study found a new relationship between two variables, explain why that matters. If your findings suggest a better solution to a problem, discuss how it can be applied in real life. The discussion section is where raw information becomes meaningful knowledge. Or what I try to say is the discussion section is where raw information becomes meaningful knowledge. Without discussion, it means the result you are presenting may not be meaningful. A strong discussion should also mention limitations. No research is perfect, and honest scholars understand this. Perhaps your sample size was small. Perhaps time or funding was limited. Perhaps centered data were difficult to access. Mentioning limitation does not weaken your paper. Instead, it shows maturity, honesty, and critical thinking. After identifying limitations, you can suggest areas for future research. This helps other researchers continue building on your work. Finally, we come to the conclusion section. This is the last major section of your paper, and it should end your study strongly. The conclusion summarizes the main findings, reminds readers why the study matters, and present final recommendations or insights. Do not introduce completely new information in the conclusion. Instead, focus on bringing everything together clearly and professionally. Leave readers with a strong final impression of the importance of your work. In addition to this main section, most papers also include acknowledgements and references. In the acknowledgements, you thank supervisors, institutions, sponsors, or anyone who supported the research. In the reference section, you list all sources cited in your paper using the required style, such as APA, MLA, Advert, or IEEE format. Proper reference is very important because it avoids plagiarism, gives credit to original authors, and strengthens the credibility of your paper. Now let's summarize everything. A successful research paper usually follows this structure. 1. Abstract. Abstract. Abstract is what? A summary of the whole paper. Then we have introduction, explains the topic and research problem. Then literature review, examines previous studies. Then we have methodology, which explains how the study was conducted. The result section present findings. Discussion explains what findings means. Then we have conclusion, which summarizes and close struggling. When you understand this structure, research writing becomes easier instead of feeling lost. You know exactly what to do next. You stop guessing and start writing with confidence. Always remember that a research paper is more than pages of text. It is the story of a problem, an investigation, and a solution. If the story is organized well, readers will understand it, respect it, and learn from it. Master the structure and you will improve your academic writing, save time, and increase your chances of publication. So, if you find this video helpful, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone working on a research paper. Don't forget, this is Spark Scholar, from idea to publication. Bye for now and have a nice day.